Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. Old Mr. Yao, please rest assured that Xiao Yan will definitely help you refine the best body. Xiao Yan beamed as he replied, it's best if this is the case. Little fellow, you can rest assured that the old me will not let you fall into any danger of losing your life before you refine the body for me. Tian Huazunja laughed out loud. His heart did indeed feel a gratitude to Xiao Yang. If Xiao Yang hadn't brought him out from that magma world, it was likely that he would have long since turned into nothingness. How could he possess his current grandness then? Moreover, he might even possess his own body in the future and once again have the wonderful feeling of being human. Xiao Yang smiled when he heard these words. With this expert protecting him, he would be in possession of quite a large amount of capital that would allow him to feel extremely safe when roaming the Central Plains. However, even with this talisman, raising his own strength was still the most important matter. After all, he could not borrow the strength of others all the time. Xiao Yang mused for a moment as a smile formed. He moved his hand and an emerald-like jade bottle appeared in his hand. He tilted the bottle and a medicinal pill the size of a dragon's eye rolled out. Immediately, an unusual fragrance scattered, commanding everyone's attention. This medicinal pill was naturally the mighty Huang pill. Moreover, it was the best quality pill among those mighty Huang pills that Xiao Yang had refined. He did not take it out to be auctioned. Instead, he had kept it in preparation for his own use. Now, it was coincidentally able to come in handy. The use of the mighty Huang pill was able to let an elite Do Huang raise his strength by 1 or even 2 stars. However, this also depended on luck. Something like one's strength not even raising after consuming the mighty Huang pill had happened before. Moreover, the unlucky thing was that even if they failed, this thing would similarly no longer possess any effect when they consumed it a second time. Hence, the people who consumed the mighty Huang pill would usually pray in their hearts that they would not end up meeting such an unlucky incident. The medicinal pill slowly rolled on Xiao Yang's hand. A moment later, he gently exhaled a breath, widened his mouth, and swiftly stuffed the medicinal pill into it. The mighty Huang pill immediately melted upon entering Xiao Yang's mouth, transforming into a somewhat warm, powerful medicinal strength that wildly surged into Xiao Yang's body. Following the surging in of the great amount of pure medicinal strength, the corner of Xiao Yang's mouth also twitched. It was fortunate that his veins were tough. Otherwise, he would have difficulty consuming such a large amount of medicinal strength in one go. Xiao Yang gently inhaled a breath of air when the medicinal strength swiftly surged and flowed into all his veins. A thought passed through his mind and a glazed lotus heart flame surged around his body. Immediately, the flames charged into his veins and swiftly wrapped around the enormous medicinal strength. After which, it forcefully pulled this wild horse-like fellow. Following the route of the flame mantra chi method, it slowly began to circulate. The space around Xiao Yang in the outside world began to ripple intensely when the medicinal strength surged within Xiao Yang's body. Wave after wave of energy appeared before agglomerating into an energy swirl in the space above his head. Finally, the energy slowly seeped into him through the top of his head. Being in possession of a heavenly flame made refining the mottled energy from nature an easy matter for Xiao Yang. He was able to refine whatever came regardless of the quantity involved. The mountain peak had become quiet after Xiao Yang entered into a slow refining state. Only the earth demon puppet beside him continued its sentry duty. The Chifeng Mountains were quite renowned within the northern region of the Central Plains. The reason was not because there was a phoenix within it. Instead, this was the place where the Wind Lightning Northern Pavilion stood. The Wind Lightning Pavilion was divided into the North, South, East, and West pavilions. The North, South, and West were complementary branches while the East Pavilion was the strongest. Even though this was the case, any one of the 3 pavilions possessed the qualification to be ranked among the top-tier factions within the Central Plains. The union of the 4 pavilions was comparable to some of the factions at the peak, and it was called the Giant of the Northern Regions of the Central Plains for that reason. Chifeng Mountains were extremely arduous in nature. The precipitous mountain peaks were covered in a layer of fog that left one with a paradise-like feeling. The peak of Chifeng Mountain seemed to have been hacked into 2 by an enormous axe. There were numerous partially visible buildings hidden within the lush greenery. The most eye-catching part of the entire mountain peak was the enormous silver-colored pagoda that was located on the highest peak. This enormous pagoda, that rushed into the sky, was named North Lightning Tower. Its body was covered by a bright silver color. One could faintly hear the slight sound of rumbling thunder emitted from it. This was the sacred training ground of the Wind Lightning Northern Pavilion. Only the most outstanding people could obtain the qualification to enter it and train. On the highest level of the North Lightning Tower was a spacious hall. At this moment, a number of people were sitting within it. Wave after wave of majestic strength permeated the room, causing the guards standing outside of the hall to tremble in fear. Elder Yun's spiritual lightning tablet has already broken. A silver-colored leader's seat was located in the middle of the hall. Faint lightning glows moved along the chair, spreading in all directions. A silver-cloaked figure was leaning on the backrest of a chair while his silver eyes slowly swept below him. Finally, a faint voice reverberated across the hall. His voice was not too loud but had a strong pressuring feeling. No one dared to underestimate him. 3 old men with different clothes in the hall immediately reacted when these words sounded. They had a clear idea of what a spiritual lightning tablet was. A thread of their spiritual imprint was stored inside. Should they unluckily die one day, this spiritual lightning tablet would also shatter. If this was the case, Chen Yun, there is actually someone who dares to attack a person from our Wind Lightning Northern Pavilion within the northern region of the Central Plains? Don't tell me that it is someone from the 10,000 Sword Pavilion. A black-clothed, old man with 2 long silver-colored eyebrows spoke in a solemn manner. We are temporarily unaware of who it is. This time, Elder Yun had accompanied Hong Chen to Qianbei City, no? Feng, Lei, Tian. You 3 elders should investigate just what happened. Capture the person who attacked regardless of who he is, even if he is someone from the 10,000 Sword Pavilion. The members of our Wind Lightning Northern Pavilion are not people who can be killed so easily, the silver-cloaked human figure on the leader's seat slowly commanded. Understood. The 3 old men immediately stood up and respectfully replied. After which, they transformed into light figures that rushed away before swiftly disappearing. The large hall once again became empty and quiet after these 3 old men disappeared. A moment later, the human figure on the leader's seat slowly stood up. He gently waved his sleeves and rumbling thunder resounded across the hall. It is really a bold move to touch the people from my Wind Lightning Pavilion in this place. I will likely be laughed at by those 2 fellows if I don't locate you. Xiao Yan had already maintained this state for 3 days ever since he had consumed the mighty Huang pill. His body was just like an unmoving rock during these 3 days. Only the repeatedly rotating energy swirl above his head on the mountain peak emitted a soft howling sound. The enormous medicinal strength of the mighty Huang pill within Xiao Yang's body had already transformed into surging do qi that flowed like floodwater within Xiao Yang's veins. Moreover, there was an unceasing amount of natural energy surging in from nature. It was refined by the heavenly flame, transforming into pure do qi that merged into this large cluster of energy. Although there was a large quantity of natural energy, the remaining pure do qi that Xiao Yang absorbed was of a small quantity after numerous refinements. However, it was at least better than nothing. Accumulated water would eventually form a river while dripping water would eventually penetrate a rock. Such accumulation over time would reach quite a frightening level. The do qi within most of the practitioners had been acquired in this manner. Relying on medicinal pills to raise one's strength was, after all, a shortcut. It could not be used excessively or one would fail to reach a higher level due to the faster training speed. However, if one really wished to talk about it, this was the first time that Xiao Yang had used a medicinal pill to raise his strength. He had never used a Do Spirit pill when he was in the Do Wang class. Hence, he was not in the category of overuse. The training of Xiao Yan lasted for quite a long time. The medicinal strength of the mighty Huang pill within his body had already been completely refined a day earlier. However, he did not immediately move. Instead, he chose to continue training. This was because he had vaguely sensed that the medicinal strength of the mighty Huang pill alone would be insufficient to allow him to raise his strength by 2 stars. He always pursued perfection in everything he did. It was a golden opportunity this time around. Naturally, he needed to grasp it and raise his strength by the greatest possible extent. Another 4 days passed while Xiao Yang maintained this attitude. During these 7 days, Xiao Yang had placed all his attention on absorbing the natural energy. Under this unceasing absorption, the do qi that flowed within his veins had gradually surged and become forceful. Each time it circulated, it would bring about an unceasing amount of energy. Such a filled feeling caused him to possess an impulse to roar at the sky. Of course, such an impulse was naturally suppressed by him. He clearly knew that if he let out a roar, the hard work that he had put in during his training would likely be wasted. Time swiftly passed during the training. The mountain peak was still as quiet as before. Occasionally, the earth demon puppet would suddenly raise its head and throw a punch toward a spot not far from the mountain. A frightening force penetrated the air and smashed a magical beast that had flown within a 100-meter radius of the mountain peak into a pile of flesh. During this period of time, this mountain peak had basically become a forbidden ground within the mountain range. The magical beasts that had suffered some losses had also learned to be much more obedient. They would take a detour when passing through this place. Therefore, Xiao Yan's training progressed in an extremely stable manner. A little activity finally appeared on the morning of the 8th day. The energy swell above Xiao Yan's head trembled a couple of times before slowly scattering. The fluctuating space around him had also gradually returned to its calm state. The energy swell had disappeared for a short while before Xiao Yan's eyelids began to twitch gently. A moment later, they were slowly opened. The dark black eyes were ancient yet ordinary. They were so calm that they appeared to have just awoken. There was not the slightest ripple within them. The fog rapidly swelled. A moment later, Xiao Yan finally reached the peak of the 8th star. A layer of invisible film suddenly appeared and suppressed the rising aura. Xiao Yan clenched both his hands abruptly as he sensed the faint clogging feeling. He did not stop at this point. Instead, he suddenly stood up and let out a long howl toward the sky. A clear crane-like cry instantly penetrated the clouds and resounded over the mountain range. It was a long while before it calmed down. The howl lasted for quite a long time, as though a breath was forced to its limit. Xiao Yan's face had also become flush red because of this. Green veins pulsed like earthworms on his face, giving him a ferocious appearance. Break it! Xiao Yan's hands were clenched tightly. The piece of enormous rock under his feet suddenly burst apart. Rock fragments flew in all directions as a stern cry was emitted from Xiao Yan's mouth. Crack! Somewhere, a non-existent layer was broken. The aura belonging to Xiao Yan, which had ceased rising, rose once more, breaking through the 8th star level, finally stopping on the 9th star. The aura had just broken through to the 9th star when it came to a sudden stop. Xiao Yan's body collapsed in a weary manner. His hands supported himself on the ground while he panted repeatedly with a flushed face. Although his limbs had already become weak, there was a joy that was difficult to hide within his eyes. He knew that the current him had broken through to the 9th star level with the help of the mighty Huang pill and his own resolution. In other words, the current Xiao Yan was a 9-star Do Huang. There was only the gap of 1 star to the Do Zone class. Although this 1 star has halted a countless number of experts, Xiao Yan had confidence in himself. This Do Zone would not be his end, little fellow. Not bad. You actually know how to push forward a little at such a moment, relying on your willpower to advance. The old me has not seen this for many years. Qian Huazun's sigh was slowly emitted while Xiao Yan was panting. Old Mr. Yao has overpraised me. It is just that a break was being restrained in my heart, and I wished to spit it out. However, it is unexpected that I broke through this barrier. Xiao Yan rubbed away the cold sweat on his forehead and laughed. After the earlier weariness, he could sense a majestic Do Qi surging through his body. That weary feeling swiftly disappeared. Regardless of how it happened, it is still not something easy to achieve. Qian Huazun laughed. Xiao Yan beamed. He stood up from the ground and twisted his body. The bones all over began to crackle. A comfortable feeling, that came from deep within his body, traveled through his entire body, causing Xiao Yan to involuntarily let out a groan. Is this the feeling of a 9-star Do Huang? It is indeed very strong. Xiao Yan clenched his fist and suddenly threw a punch out. The space in front of him immediately fluctuated. A sharp sonic boom was formed on his fist, which possessed an extremely great might. The strength of this force was really a couple of times stronger than a couple of days ago. After inhaling a breath of somewhat moist air, Xiao Yan turned his head. He glanced at the earth demon puppet before involuntarily smiling. Using this thing as a guard was really quite good. Now that I have consumed the mighty Huang pill, I should leave this place. After having killed Chen Yun, it is likely that the Wind Lightning Pavilion will not take such a blow lying down. It is now not the best time to clash head-on with them. I should find a city with a wormhole and leave this place to hide from them. Trying my best to break past the Do Huang class as soon as possible is the most important thing. The Wind Lightning Pavilion has not only issued a wanted order, but the Han clan of the Qian Bay city has also been placed under house arrest by the people from the Wind Lightning Northern Pavilion. They should be thinking of using them to force Xiao Yang out. However, it is not like that. Xiao Yang is a fool. How could it be possible for him to fall into their trap when he clearly knows that there are 3 experts from the Wind Lightning Northern Pavilion in Qian Bay City? Xiao Yan's body trembled violently upon hearing the last sentence. His face under the doping had suddenly turned gloomy. His tightened fist also emitted a cracking sound, Wind Lightning Pavilion. A voice that contained a sinister killing intent softly seeped out of the gap between Xiao Yan's teeth. The fury and hatred within it was not the least bit hidden. Clearly, Xiao Yan had grown extremely angry at this moment. His usually expressionless self had unleashed the anger that he had suppressed within his heart. A human figure was standing above a lush green sea of trees. His gaze looked to the northern sky and his brows were knit slightly as sunlight landed on his face. At this moment, the face of this expert suddenly revealed hesitation and regret. It was likely that this expression would cause his opponents to feel extremely shocked. This unusually merciless person could actually make such an expression. The Han clan being held under house arrest by the Wind Lightning Pavilion was indeed something that Xiao Yan had not expected. After all, regardless of how one put it, the Han clan possessed quite some weight within Qianbei City. Moreover, they did not intervene in this matter. Unexpectedly, the bastards from the Wind Lightning Pavilion were acting in such a despicable way. The aim of the Wind Lightning Pavilion, by spreading news that the Han clan was held under house arrest, was something obvious, not even worth mentioning. They wanted to force Xiao Yan to reveal himself and rescue them. Xiao Yan was certain that Qianbei City was likely already occupied by the experts from the Wind Lightning Pavilion at this moment. The moment he revealed himself, it was likely that he would end up facing an extremely intense battle. Currently, Qianbei City had already become a trap, waiting for Xiao Yan to fall into. This trap was not really hidden by the Wind Lightning Pavilion. Moreover, it was also impossible for them to hide it. Even ordinary people were aware of what it was. How was it possible for Xiao Yan not to realize it? If one were to really talk about it, it was impossible for the other party to completely ignore such an action unless that person was cold-hearted. This so-called trap would naturally be ineffective on people like that. However, Xiao Yan wasn't not a cold-hearted person. Towards enemies, he might have been able to be cold-hearted. However, to normal people or those that he knew, he was extremely kind, and this personality of his allowed him to have quite a few friends and experts gathering around him. People like Hai Bodong, Little Fairy, Queen Medusa to even the Tian Huazunja all felt this. Those who were cold-hearted to even their friends would have trouble getting others to treat them genuinely. This point was part of Xiao Yan's charm. Xiao Yan inhaled a deep breath and sighed, "The Wind Lightning Pavilion is really hateful. It wants to force me out. In that case, I will do as they wish." "Little fellow, do you intend to head to Qianbei City? That place is definitely filled with experts now." An elderly laugh sounded within Xiao Yan's heart. "A great man has things that he can do and cannot do. This matter is something that was stirred by me. Given my character, it is difficult for me to just stand idly by the side." Xiao Yan softly replied, "These words are indeed true. The old me hates the kind of people who implicate their friends and end up acting in a timid manner. Although you are quite young, you really suit the taste of the old me. If you had not mentioned that you already have a teacher, you would not be a bad choice for a disciple." Tian Huazunja laughed heartily. "Mr. Yao has overpraised me." Xiao Yan smiled when he heard this. His shoulders shook and a pair of crystal bone wings slowly spread apart. He smiled and said, "In that case, let's get moving. Relax, as long as the old me is around, I will guarantee that nothing will harm you as long as we do not meet an expert at the peak of the Dozone class." Tian Huazunja laughed loudly. "In that case, I will thank old Mr. Yao." Xiao Yan also laughed out loud. He raised his head and looked over the endless sea of lush green trees. A pride involuntarily surged in his heart, and he let out a clear roar toward the sky. The shout was like the cry of a crane that clearly reverberated unceasingly over the sea of trees. "Even if your Wind Lightning Pavilion has turned Qianbei City into an extremely dangerous place, I, Xiao Yan, will still not be afraid." The cry slowly sounded before the bone wings on Xiao Yan's back were flapped. His body transformed into a ray of light that flashed toward Qianbei City. However, other than a few people, most of the members of the Han clan did not think that Xiao Yan would really show himself because of this. At this moment, there were quite a number of elite disciples from the Wind Lightning Pavilion within Qianbei City. Most importantly, there were the three elders, Feng, Lei, and Jian. The strengths of these three people was a little stronger than Chen Yun. Unless it was some old demon of the Dozone class, very few people could fight with them when they joined hands. Even if Xiao Yan possessed the frightening strength to kill Chen Yun, it was likely that he would find it difficult to fight against these three renowned elders from the Wind Lightning Northern Pavilion. Of course, it was not only the members of the Han clan who were making guesses. The entire Tianbei city and some other cities, who had heard rumors, were all trying to figure out if Xiao Yang would really turn up. However, most of the people guessed that Xiao Yang would not appear. After all, from the way they saw it, not many people, who were thinking straight, would dare to charge into the dangerous grounds even if he was the young man called Xiao Yan, who had given them a great shock on the Skystone stage back then. 7 days passed by quickly while a countless number of people were engaged in discussions. Tianbei City was as quiet as it was before these 7 days. The big battle that they had imagined did not arrive. Immediately, quite a number of people became disappointed as a result. It seemed that Xiao Yang really did not dare to come. Sometimes, humans were a very strange creature. When they made uncertain guesses earlier, they thought that Xiao Yang charging in was an extremely foolish idea. Now, after having ascertained that he would not appear, they could not help but feel disappointed. They even quietly felt a little disdain. Their hearts had placed a charge of abandoning one's friends on Xiao Yan's head. A graceful pretty figure was seated on a stone chair in a small serene courtyard within the Han clan's manor. Her pretty eyes was a little absent-minded as they wandered the room. The current Han Shui was much skinnier than before. Although she still emitted a coldness, she appeared a little more moving and pitiful. Han Shui softly sighed as her pretty eyes focused for a moment. "Shui, you have been running here every day," a soft helpless voice sounded from behind Han Shui while she was sighing. Han Shui turned her head and discovered that it was Han Yu. Han Shui's pretty face turned slightly red. She looked at the pity on Han Yu's face when she clenched her hand and suddenly asked, "Elder sister, do you think, will he come?" Han Yu was startled when she heard this. 7 days had already passed by, and there had been no news of Xiao Yang. Given her understanding of Xiao Yang, he was not a heartless person. However, the few days' wait had caused the confidence in her heart to sway significantly. "He will likely come." Han Yu finally said after hesitating for a moment, "I hope that he won't come. Those 3 old fellows from the Wind Lightning Northern Pavilion are people whom even great-grandfather greatly fears. Although Xiao Yang is very strong, he is likely no match for the 3 old fellows." Han Shui's long eyelashes blinked gently as she softly spoke. "Won't you be very disappointed if he really doesn't come? Won't you feel as though you have misjudged him?" Han Yu raised her bright eyes and asked with a smile. Han Shui had just finished muttering to herself when a rumbling thunder suddenly resounded in the sky above Tianbei City. Immediately, the entire city could sense a majestic aura that was not the least bit hidden rushing toward the city in an extremely quick manner. The entire Tianbei City had descended into an uproar when this aura had just appeared. Numerous stunned gazes looked in the direction the aura originated from. A ray of light was cutting through the air in a lightning-like manner from that direction. "Xiao Yan? He has really come? This fellow really does have some courage. Ha ha, looks like the old me has won my bet this time around." Tianbei City, which had been quiet for a couple of days, seemed to have recovered at this instant. Numerous heated gazes looked to the sky outside of the city. They knew that Tianbei City would no longer be quiet today. 3 old men on the top of 3 trees around the Han clan's manor instantly opened their eyes when the aura had appeared. They slowly raised their heads and looked into the distance. A cold smile appeared on their old faces. Is he finally about to arrive? Thunderbolts came pouring down from all around one after another. The silver-colored lightning seemed to be swimming around like small white-colored snakes. All of them repeatedly emitted glaring glows. These lightning bolts contained an enormous amount of strength that existed in a fashion visible to the naked eye. The world could easily break amid the flashing lightning and thunderous roars. Bang, 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 the thunder came without stopping. A moment later, Xiao Yan slowly raised his head and looked at the thick, dark clouds, which had almost been dyed silver. An extremely frightening energy was gathered inside it. It appeared that this Wind Lightning Northern Pavilion had really taken out a great capital in order to capture him. They had even used such a great formation, using the Han clan as hostages, and forcing you out is indeed something that is not the style of our Wind Lightning Pavilion. The matter today might end up causing us to be criticized. Hence, it will also be the last time. However, we must capture you. We will not allow the 3000 lightning movement to be used by an outsider, regardless of who wins today. The Han clan is no longer related to this matter." The old man with long eyebrows stared intently at Xiao Yang. His voice was just like rumbling thunder as it was emitted from the thunderbolt curtain, reverberating all over Tianbei City. They had also suffered a lot of pressure while holding the Han clan under house arrest during these few days. By saying these words now, they accounted to the people from Tianbei City and the Han clan. Of course, his most important aim was to restore a little of the negative image that had been formed during these few days. After all, the Wind Lightning Northern Pavilion was merely one of the Wind Lightning Pavilions. If they ended up ruining the reputation of the Wind Lightning Pavilion as a result of this, they would also not be able to escape the responsibility of doing so. Xiao Yan calmly watched the three old men. One could not see any emotion in his silvery eyes as he said, "Just attack. I, Xiao Yan, will definitely not do something as foolish as surrendering and allowing myself to be captured. If you wish to capture me, you will need to show some genuine ability." Xiao Yan pointed his finger at the three elders upon saying these words. The earth demon puppet beside him also emitted a glow in its empty hole-like eyes. Its feet stomped on the empty air as it transformed into a silver-colored figure that rushed forward. He, Xiao Yang, your opponent is Elder Lei and the others. Allow the old me to deal with this puppet. The earth demon puppet had just rushed out when a cracked line suddenly appeared in the thunderbolt curtain. Hong Qian Xiao rushed in while laughing loudly. He immediately blocked the earth demon puppet. Kill him. Xiao Yang's silver-colored eyes swept over Hong Qian Xiao in an indifferent manner as he softly uttered. The body of the earth demon puppet suddenly emitted a silver glow when these words left Xiao Yang's mouth. Its palm wind also became extremely sharp. Each punch carried a deep sonic boom as they violently smashed toward Hong Qian Xiao. Seeing that the earth demon puppet had suddenly shown its might, Hong Qian Xiao did not dare to underestimate it even a little. He clearly knew that the strength of this puppet was extremely frightening. If he was careless, it was not impossible for him to be killed by it. However, it was fortunate that his task was merely to hold it back and not to defeat it. Majestic fiery red do chi surged out of Hong Qian Xiao's body. He drew two 10-foot-long scimitars that violently danced. Finally, they collided with the earth demon puppet. An intense big battle immediately erupted. The lightning glow flickering on the long-eyebrowed, old man's body became increasingly dense upon seeing Hong Qian Xiao successfully block the earth demon puppet. He stared at Xiao Yang as he said in a deep voice, "This 9 heavenly lightning prison formation is a great formation of my Wind Lightning Northern Pavilion. It is formed by 23 expert Do Huangs and 46 expert Do Wangs. Moreover, the three of us will act as the center of the formation. If you are able to break through it today, your name Xiao Yan will be able to shake the entire northern region of the Central Plains." Boom! 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 The two fierce attacks were slowly annihilated. A powerful energy wave spread in a swift and ferocious manner. However, it ended up scattering when it reached a distance of 100 feet around both Xiao Yang and the long-eyebrowed elder. Xiao Yang's gaze slowly swept over the three elders. There was a lightning-like pillar on their heads that shot into the thunder clouds. Among the three of them, only the long-eyebrowed elder directed the attacks. The remaining two seemed to be pouring all the do chi within their bodies into this thunder cloud. This great formation is indeed somewhat profound, heaven lightning skill. The face of the long-eyebrowed elder was cold and stern while the seals on his hand swiftly changed. The lightning clouds randomly churned in the sky. An instant later, his finger suddenly pointed at Xiao Yang. The thunder clouds churned as a countless number of enormous serpent-like thunderbolts shot out of it. Finally, they struck at Xiao Yang from all directions. Their mighty aura caused one's heart to feel afraid. Xiao Yang's feet gently stomped down as a jade-green flame surged from his body. It immediately permeated the space hundreds of feet around him. The flame fiercely rose and agglomerated into an enormous fire wolf that howled at the sky. It widened its enormous mouth and a suction force surged out. The thunderbolts that shot over were swallowed by it. After the thunderbolt was completely swallowed by the fire wolf, wave after wave of muffled thunder began to be emitted from the enormous body of the fire wolf. Its body had also become a little paler. However, it ultimately refined those thunderbolts. Qian Huazunja's reminder suddenly sounded within Xiao Yang's heart. Xiao Yang nodded slightly upon hearing this. He inhaled a deep breath of air and his finger gently pressed on the fire seal on his head. It formed a hook and a dense white-colored flame swiftly came out from it. Xiao Yang grabbed the bone-chilling flame the moment it appeared. The jade-green flame split apart, transforming into the fallen heart flame and the green lotus core flame. 3 types of heavenly flames were suspended in front of Xiao Yang. Finally, the 3 kinds of flames suddenly started to merge when his hand was clenched. Immediately, a frighteningly wild and violent force spread out, 3 types of a heavenly flame. How is this possible? The 3 elders, who had not shown emotional fluctuations earlier, changed their expressions when they saw the 3 types of heavenly flames in front of Xiao Yang. All of them involuntarily let out a cry of disbelief. The expression of the long-eyebrowed old man also became much gloomier after his startled cry sounded. His gaze was exchanged with the other two. They grit their teeth and the seal on their hands began to change. Following the rapid change in their hand seals, the lightning pillar that was emitted from their heads became stronger. After receiving such a great amount of lightning chi, the lightning cloud in the sky appeared like a creeping ancient fierce beast. It emitted waves of low and deep rumbling sounds that caused one's head to feel numb. A similarly wild and violent energy was swiftly formed at the same time. When the wild and violent energy was formed, the faces of the three elders gradually became pale. 3 types of heavenly flames were merging in Xiao Yan's hand. While they were merging, threads of destructive strength quietly seeped out. This caused the spatial strength around Xiao Yan to form some thread-like dark black cracks. Cracks had suddenly appeared in the air at this moment. With this current condition of Xiao Yan, it was not difficult for him to merge the 3 types of heavenly flames. Hence, a basin-sized 3-colored fire lotus slowly appeared on his palm a short couple of minutes later. The 3-colored fire lotus rotated slowly. Each time it did so, some dark black lines appeared in the surrounding space. After the cry of the 3 people sounded, a soul-stirring explosion was immediately emitted from the thundercloud. The churning speed also came to a slow stop. Immediately, bright silver glows shot out and an enormous lightning fist, a couple of 100 feet in size, broke through the thundercloud. It then came crushing down. Sharp sonic booms from all over the sky basically appeared one after another as the fist appeared. Continuous crackling sounds appeared as well. Even the street on the ground had suddenly cracked apart, revealing an enormous fist imprint. The enormous lightning fist carried a frightening strength as it came smashing down. That momentum was basically one that aimed to completely destroy everything in front of it. However, a 3-colored light was advancing under the cover of the frightening fist without facing any resistance. Although its size was small, the destructive strength that seeped out of it brought forth spatial crack lines while it progressed. Bright glaring light energy appeared like a sun, which suddenly appeared in the sky. The intensity of the light had basically caused this weather, which had become a little dim because of the thunderclouds, to become extremely bright. The strength of such a glow had far exceeded the fiery hot sun in the distant sky. Just what kind of intense glow was this? It was likely that no one in this world had seen such an intense light. A person's eyes would likely only see a complete whiteness. This place seemed completely empty, causing everyone's hearts to be startled. The loud rumbling thunder appeared just like the roar of a thunder god that reverberated over the sky. However, the expected soul-stirring explosion did not appear. The spot where the 3-colored lotus made contact with the enormous lightning fist had numerous spatial folds that were visible to the naked eye. The 2 extremely frightening energies were quietly eroding each other. Along with the erosion of the 2 frightening energies, a half-foot-wide black hole slowly appeared. The space where the 2 energies collided could not endure the other's presence and ended up forming some spatial cracks. The spatial black hole gradually widened. It spread until it was around 100 feet in size in front of a countless number of shocked eyes. The enormous lightning fist and the 3-colored fire lotus had begun to fluctuate following the growth of the spatial black hole. Numerous thunderbolt-like silver snakes followed the enormous fist as they wildly poured down. They were violently channeled toward the fire lotus. In the face of the enormous lightning fist's wild and violent attack, the 3-colored fire lotus became unusually calm. It rotated slowly and numerous fire seedlings that vaguely carried 3 colors were emitted, blocking all of those silver bolts of lightning that came pouring down. Although the battle between the 2 was completely silent and an overly soul-stirring explosion did not occur, anyone with some eyesight could tell that such an exchange was even more frightening and dangerous. Within 100 feet radius of this exchange, everyone, including Xiao Yan and the 3 wind lightning nor the pavilion elders, would likely end up in a miserable state. The space around that location had already been covered by wave after wave of extremely wild, frighteningly violent energy. The fire lotus slowly rotated. Following each of its rotations, the enormous lightning fist vaguely became a little dimmer. At the same time, the expressions of the 3 elders also became even paler. The destructive strength within the fire lotus caused them to possess a fear that unfurled from deep within their souls. Crack. The rotating speed of the 3-colored fire lotus suddenly became much faster in front of an innumerable number of gazes. Following the increase in its speed, the rate at which the enormous lightning fist became dimmer increased. In the end, the fist suddenly trembled and numerous crack lines slowly spread out in front of the shocked eyes of the 3 elders. Eventually, it emitted a crack sound and collapsed into a countless number of silver-colored light spots. Under the might of the Great Formation, the three elders' all-out attack was unable to block the frightening three-colored fire lotus. If Xiao Yan had relied on his own strength to create this three-colored fire lotus, it was naturally extremely difficult for him to achieve this effect. However, the current Xiao Yan had borrowed the strength of Qian Huazunja. Thus, his strength had already reached a frightening level. The strength of the three-colored fire lotus that he had currently displayed was naturally extremely frightening. After all, the angry Buddha lotus flame was a powerful Do technique where its strength would accompany an increase in Xiao Yang's strength. As long as Xiao Yang's strength continued to rise, the power of the angry Buddha lotus flame would also become more and more terrifying. The lightning pillars ruthlessly attacked the fire lotus, but they did not cause it to pause even a little as three-colored fire seedlings rose out. These fire seedlings might appear to be the size of a finger, but they instantly vaporized the lightning pillars into nothingness upon contact. This scene caused everyone to tremble in fear. The lightning pillars did not stop the attack of the fire lotus. While the fire seedling rose, the light ray that was formed by the fire lotus charged into the thundercloud's heaven hall, scatter formation. The eyes of the long-eyebrowed elder immediately shrank to the size of a pinhole upon seeing the fire lotus barging into the thundercloud. A horrified loud cry rumbled. However, before the Wind Lightning Northern Pavilion's experts at the exterior of the formation could recover from his cry, the interior of the thundercloud emitted a soul-stirring explosion that resounded over the place. Immediately, an enormous fire wave surged out in an untamed floodwater-like manner. The thundercloud endured for an instant in the face of the attack from the enormous fire wave before it burst apart, transforming into clusters of tiny electric glows as it did so. The thundercloud was created by the experts from the Wind Lightning Northern Pavilion and the three elders. Hence, they were naturally implicated now that it had been destroyed. The thunderbolt curtain that had spread all over the place immediately disappeared. Numerous grug sounds of blood being spat out repeatedly resounded over Qianbei City. Some of the people standing on the buildings fell down head first. The people within Qianbei City involuntarily wiped off their cold sweat when they heard the sound of blood being vomited from all directions. That majestic storm had also been vaporized by the fire wave in the sky. The stormy weather from earlier had turned into one with clear skies that stretched for thousands of kilometers. Even the joint effort of the three elders from the Wind Lightning Pavilion and the use of the 9 heavenly lightning prison formation cannot trap him. This Xiao Yang is really too terrifying. After fighting the Wind Lightning Northern Pavilion's 3 elders and the many experts by himself, it is likely that Xiao Yang's name will spread over the entire northern region within a short couple of days. It is really joyous. I have not wasted a trip this time around. This big battle is the most intense one that I have seen in my life. It is likely that Xiao Yang could hardly find an opponent among the younger generation. It is rumored that the Wind Lightning Pavilion has a certain Feng Xiaojie. Her training talent is considered extremely outstanding and is the choice as the next Eastern Pavilion head. I wonder if she will be able to fight against Xiao Yang. The bodies of the long-eyebrowed elder and the 2 others in the sky stilled momentarily while the entire city emitted numerous private conversations. Their faces had finally turned pale white while their breathing had become sluggish. The forceful scattering of the thundercloud was very harmful to them. Retreat. The hand of the long-eyebrowed old man trembled slightly. A moment later, he finally clenched his teeth and softly spoke a word. Let's leave first. With a stern cry, the long-eyebrowed elder and the other 2 unleashed their remaining Do Chi. Lightning glows surged and the 3 of them turned into 3 rays of light that rushed out of Qianbei City in a lightning-like manner. After which, they disappeared into the horizon. Xiao Yan beckoned with his hand after seeing the 3 elders fleeing into the distance. He held the 3 storage rings in his hand. It was not that he did not intend to kill all of them, but these 3 stuck together like chewing gum. If he were to really force them until that stage, it was likely that Xiao Yan would lose more than he gained. He was able to defeat the 3 of them, but killing them would require him to pay quite a terrible price. Xiao Yan glanced at the storage rings. His finger rubbed over them. Borrowing Qian Huazunja's majestic spiritual strength, he was able to easily remove the spiritual imprints on them. Xiao Yang's spirit swiftly invaded the rings after having removed the imprint. After a search, 3 bright silver-colored scrolls flashed and appeared in his hand. They were indeed with these 3 old fellows. These 3 silver-colored scrolls were similar to the one he had obtained from Chen Yun. Even the blood veins on its surface were exactly the same. Clearly, these 3 scrolls should be part of the 3000 lightning illusionary body. However, he did not know whether he would be able to obtain a complete version of them after including the scroll already in his hands. Xiao Yan could not help but feel a little anxious after thinking until this point. Of course, he would naturally not test it in this kind of situation. He flipped his hand and stored the 3 scrolls into his storage ring. Immediately, his dark eyes slowly turned to Hong Xiao, who was still entangled with the Earth Demon puppet. The killing intent within Xiao Yan's heart was even more intense when it came to this old man. He knew that the news of Chen Yun dying to his hands had been spread by this fellow. The information that the people from the Wind Lightning Pavilion had on him should have also been revealed by this old man. It might not be possible to kill the 3 elders today, but this Hong Xiao needed to die. Hong Xiao, who was fighting with the Earth Demon puppet in the distance, had naturally also sensed that the 3 elders had fled after being defeated. His expression immediately became extremely ugly. These 3 old bastards. Hong Xiao roared furiously within his heart. He had just forced back the Earth Demon puppet when he sensed a pair of ice-cold eyes that contained a killing intent, being shot over from a distance. Hong Xiao's expression instantly became much paler after sensing the density of the killing intent within those eyes. His mouth was filled with bitterness. At this moment, he had finally understood just what kind of frightening existence he had offended this time around. Fire red Doqi appeared just like a fire as it emitted some heat and wrapped Hong Xiao within it. His hand was holding a scimitar that was over 10 feet long. It danced in a mighty manner as it carried a blade glow that contained a hot wind and whizzed out. They immediately hacked at the Earth Demon puppet's body. The scimitar violently hacked at the body of the Earth Demon puppet. Under the full strength of Hong Xiao, some scars appeared on the silver surface of the puppet's body. However, no fresh blood flowed out. The Earth Demon puppet appeared to be completely unaware of these wounds on its body as its powerful fist carried a low, deep sonic boom that smashed toward Hong Xiao. This caused Hong Xiao to appear a little miserable as he tried to dodge. After all, he was not immune to all sorts of pain like the Earth Demon puppet. The corner of Hong Xiao's eyes drifted toward the figure that was slowly stepping through the empty air. His originally ugly face had become much darker. With a furious cry, the large blade in front of him danced and formed a wild wind. Sharp blade glows emitted shua shua sounds as they threw the Earth Demon puppet's fist aside, fire-splitting blade. The fiery red Doqi agglomerated crazily on the enormous blade. Hong Qian's eyes turned cold as furiously hacked down. The blade glow cut through space and ruthlessly struck into the Earth Demon puppet's arm. The blade cut half an inch into it. The fiery red blade caused a kai sound to appear while white smoke was emitted from the Earth Demon puppet's arm. Bang! The eyes of the Earth Demon puppet remained empty despite having suffered such an attack. It ignored the large blade in its arm as a silver-colored fist was suddenly thrown forward. It ruthlessly smashed into Hong Xiao's chest. A frightening strength surged out when the fist came smashing over. Hong Xiao's throat let out a muffled moan. His body shook and he hurriedly stepped back. A thread of sweetness in his throat was forcefully held back by him. Since you dare to hurt my puppet, you shall die. Hong Xiao's feet stabilized his body. Before had time to do anything else, however, a somewhat indifferent voice suddenly sounded behind him. The voice was transmitted into Hong Xiao's ears, and his eyes immediately shrank. His gaze looked in the direction where Xiao Yan had been, only to see an afterimage slowly disappearing. A chill suddenly surfaced in Hong Xiao's heart as he looked at the scattering afterimage. The chill had just materialized when frightening wind suddenly shot over from behind him. Hong Xiao hurriedly turned around while he was feeling shock in his heart. His hand holding the large fiery red blade did not hesitate even a little. He agglomerated the Doqi all over his body and ruthlessly hacked down. Xiao Yan, you bastard! You actually dared to deceive the old me. Hong Xiao immediately let out a furious roar upon sensing the great strength of the wind behind him. He immediately swung the scimitar in his hand ruthlessly toward his back. Finally, a clear clang sound appeared as it cut onto the arm of the Earth Demon puppet. However, the puppet did not step back. Instead, it strode forward, pulled its arms apart, and firmly hugged Hong Xiao. Hong Xiao was startled when his limbs were restrained. He quickly began to struggle. Fire-red Doqi surged out of his body like an erupting volcano. However, the Earth Demon puppet firmly restrained Hong Xiao under Xiao Yan's orders. It completely ignored the heat of the Doqi. The old me will definitely not allow you to kill me this easily. Hong Xiao's eyes revealed a craziness after becoming aware that Xiao Yan had the intention of killing him off after he had been restrained by the Earth Demon puppet. The Doqi within his body collided. Immediately, a wild, violent force hurriedly surged out. From its appearance, this old fellow was actually thinking of self-destructing. Xiao Yan appeared to have anticipated Hong Qianxiao's plan. The dou qi in his body surged, and his body rushed forward in a ghost-like manner. His eyes were ice-cold while a jade-green fire palm appeared. It was just like a flame cone. As it was viciously pierced forward, the struggling Hong Qianxiao suddenly stiffened amid a soft sound. He slowly lowered his head with much difficulty and looked at the fire hand that had penetrated his chest. The viciousness in his eyes had yet to reach its peak when they solidified. Xiao Yan was expressionless after having destroyed Hong Qianxiao's life force with a single attack. Xiao Yan suddenly placed his hand on Hong Qianxiao's head and violently pulled. An illusionary spiritual body was immediately pulled out. Little bastard Xiao Yan. The old me shall die with you today. The illusionary Hong Qianxiao spirit had just been pulled out when it let out a vicious roar. However, before his soul could self-destruct, majestic spiritual strength had surged out of Xiao Yan's body and violently collided with the soul. Immediately, Hong Qianxiao's soul turned illusionary and the sanity within his eyes swiftly disappeared. Collisions between spirits was the most dangerous thing that could happen. If one was careless, not only would one's mind be damaged, but the other party's mind would also suffer some injuries. However, it was fortunate that after having borrowed the spiritual strength of Qian Huazunjia, Xiao Yan's spiritual strength was far stronger than Hong Qianxiao's spiritual strength. Hence, this collision had greatly reduced the consciousness within Hong Qianxiao's soul. Xiao Yan grabbed Hong Qianxiao's soul when he saw the paralysis appear in his eyes. A majestic spiritual strength was like a bandit as it used the most brutal method to barge into Hong Qianxiao's soul. After sweeping through it, Xiao Yan completely removed his consciousness. Xiao Yan swiftly took out a jade bottle after having eliminated the consciousness. After which, he stuffed the spirit into it. His hand rubbed over it and an invisible flame appeared. A fire seal was placed on the mouth of the bottle, a 5-star Dozong spirit and body. My reward is quite great this time around. If I am able to obtain another rank 7 monster core, I will be able to refine another puppet. Of course, the precondition is if I am lucky enough to successfully refine it. Xiao Yan smiled and softly replied, I have already offended the Wind Lightning Pavilion. If I entangle myself with all of you, it is likely that the matter today will occur again. Cuckoo, when my strength reaches a level where I am no longer afraid of the Wind Lightning Pavilion, I will come visit the Han clan. I hope you won't end up chasing me away at that time. Han Shui tightly bit her lower red lip with the back of her teeth. Her lovely body had a kind of unsteady feeling. She was vaguely aware that she might really have difficulty meeting Xiao Yan again in the future after they parted ways today. Xiao Yan, thank you. The Han clan will remember this favor of yours. Han Yu softly sighed softly. She stepped forward, pulled Han Shui, and gently spoke to Xiao Yan. Senior Han Yu is really too courteous. I am merely resolving trouble that I created. Xiao Yan smiled. He immediately looked at the pale-faced Han Shui and sighed within his heart. Cupping his hands together, he said, help me bid big brother Han Chong and the rest goodbye. You are the first group of friends that I have made after arriving in the Central Plains region. Hopefully, we will meet again. Xiao Yan's voice sounded before his body trembled and slowly disappeared. Han Shui watched the gradually disappearing Xiao Yan. She finally involuntarily pounced into Han Yu's embrace and began to cry. Han Fei's figure hurriedly appeared at the entrance of the yard. However, when he saw the crying Han Shui, he could only let out a sigh. His gaze looked to the distant sky as he muttered, little friend Xiao Yan, the Han clan will accept this favor of yours. We will definitely repay you in the future if we have the opportunity to. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.